Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Muhammad Ali Hamza and I have with me Mr. Asad Butt. Mr. Asad Butt is a lawyer, a renowned lawyer, not having a focus on the local issues, but he also looks into the matters that's happening internationally. And if we talk about Kashmir, Kashmir is no more a matter of two countries, India and Pakistan. Kashmir was never a matter of two countries. It was always an international issue which has been brought down to a bilateral issue by India. After 1971, the Pakistan reached the United Nations Security Council right after the steps taken by India, that is the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. Though Pakistan never accepted Article 370 and 35A because Pakistan always asked for the independence of Kashmir and the coalition of Kashmir with Pakistan, which is natural and which was natural. Mr. Asad, thank you for your time. Let's talk about victimization. We have been witnessing in Kashmir for last 72 years, but this victimization has reached to its peak with the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A. What do you think what we can, being Pakistani, we can do, and what Kashmiris can do now?
First of all, as you mentioned that it's a very important issue not only between the two countries, but also regarding the other stakeholders who are having interest regarding the trades, other financial issues in both the countries. So this is the time they should plunge in this issue and try to resolve, as we can see that on account of this issue, that CPAC matter is also going to be disturbed, and that is the reason the China took a step on the request of the Pakistan to take this issue to the National Security Council, because China was the permanent member and that was only legally authorized to take this issue before the concerned authorities. So now your question that what options are available for both Pakistan and India. For Pakistan,
I think India has used its option. I mean, they have played their cards now.
Yeah, they had, but that was actually in violation of the international rules and regulation, because there were so many resolutions by the United Nations at that times that this is a declared disputed issue between the two countries. So Pakistan was not there to accept the 370 and 35A even before that, because our position is entirely different. You know,
we take Kashmir as a part of Pakistan.
A part of Pakistan, and we believe that this is the right of the Kashmiri people to use their right to plebiscite to decide whether they want to get independence, whether they want to become with the Pakistan.
So, actually, we were talking about options. India has used its option. Modi in the government, using Hindutva as a concept. They've been trying to just spread out the Hindutva movement into Kashmir. But what Kashmiris can do now?
Obviously they are helpless. They are looking towards the world because major humanitarian crisis about to take place if the world does not think in this matter very seriously and solemnly, because this is the time every nation has to be affected.
Is the world serious?
It appears that.
But if we look into the agenda item of United Nations Security Council, the agenda item was consultation of India and Pakistan. So they are talking about just solve the issues with peaceful minds and table talks. So the world is not going to snub or shut up India.
It's even though it's informal discussions and the outcome is not going to take us to any place, but I think this is the first step, and it will trigger the matter in the mind of other nations as well, because when the humanitarian crisis are there, and for God bids, if there's a war between the two countries, it would not be a war only between the two countries. It would be the loss of so many nations who have invested in both the countries. So this is the time the world seriously thinks about this issue and try to play their roles as they are required under the international norms and rules and regulations.
All right. So if we talk about the international rules, laws and norms, if one country offers, like Pakistan offers the world that we are ready to talk to India, and India always been refusing this offer. The international law says that if one party is not ready to discuss, the community, the international community cannot plunge in.
Well, this is the apparent rule, but there are so many other maneuverings. There are so many others ways to compel the India to come to the tables, because if other nations stop trading with the India, and India is trying to be the major power in the world.
How would it this possible? The India is a big market for all the giants. I mean, there is a huge population in India. They consume the products made in America, made in Europe. So do you think, are they going to ask India that we are not going to export you if you do such things?
Well, if they are serious, if the Pakistani bring them on the tables, because Pakistan also can, use different diplomatic means to convince the world. And if the Pakistan is successful regarding this matter, ultimately India would be compelled. If we can do this, if you can,
what channels can we use?
If we can adopt this strategy regarding the Iran and other nations,
do you prefer that we should try to engage Putin into it? We should try, as we have tried for China. Do you think that Russia, one of a superpower, they are coming back now? Do you think, are they going to engage themselves in this entire problem and they're going to side Pakistan?
Well, we should try. We should try at least. We should try to knock every door. And we had discussion with the American president. Why not with the other stakeholders? Because
this I never understood. If you understood, please explain to the audience. It's a couple of days back, Trump says, I am ready to mediate. Right after a couple of days, the Modi government refused it, and they said that Modi never asked Trump to indulge into this matter. And right after a couple of more days, they just abrogated the law. And you know what they claim today is, and you must have listened to it, Modi on the 15th of August, he was on the Lal Killa, said that in a couple of months, we have repealed 73 laws. Those were against India, and abrogation of 370 and 35A is one of them. So they are not on defensive mode at all.
They are not, but we need to make our efforts, because war is not the solution for any countries. It is going to put each and every country who's having even a little bit interest in Pakistan or India, they are going to be disturbed.
India needs to understand that.
India needs to understand as well, because we are also the nuclear power, and the war can lead us to any
and it's not a nuke threat. It's not a nuke threat.
Any stage. But abrogating the 370 and other articles of the Constitution, that was not the stance of Pakistan. They themselves, adopted that claim, and now they are abrogating the same one. Our stance from the very first day is very clear that
Kashmir is a part of Pakistan.
Kashmir is part of Pakistan.
And the reason is so simple, because there is a Muslim majority up
Majority.
here. But there is another point of view. I'd like to have your view on that. That in the disputed Kashmir, Indian occupied Kashmir, they have divided into three parts: the Kashmir, Jammu and Ladakh. According to the last census, the highest majority of the Muslims is in Kashmir. In Ladakh, the Buddhists in the high majority. In the Jammu, Hindus are in a higher majority. Do you think that probably somewhere they're planning to give Kashmir to Pakistan and keep Jammu and Ladakh with India?
Well, that was one of the one of the ideas and notions which were being discussed at that time. But now the situation is entirely different. They have actually put a curfew on the whole locality, and they are violating the fundamental right of the Kashmir.
Exactly.
So first we need to resolve the humanitarian crisis. Their medicines are not there, food is shortage of foods, and so many other things. So this is the time.
Okay.
First we go towards that.
The human rights things,
and
we have to raise them. Yeah. We have to talk about them, and we can see that around the world, all communities, if we talk about Sikhs, if we talk about Christians, Muslims indeed, they are against the inhuman behavior of India that's been adopted for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's right. And you might have seen so many protests even outside the embassies of UK, Indian embassy UK.
Exactly.
And you might have seen so many other protests all over the world. The peoples who are not directly concerned with that.
I've just gone through the news. The Indian media has just declared that from the coming Monday, They are going to open the schools, the curfew will be no more there, the siege will be over. If they do it, if the phone services are on, internet is on, the schools are on in Kashmir, open, the Kashmir issue is gone?
No, it will not be gone. But you know, there are a two-pronged strategy. One of them is to resolve the humanitarian crisis, and then resolve the ultimate issue, which is between the Pakistan and India. So I believe that after lifting all these, curfew and things like that, the issue will remain, because they are now, the India has planned now to send so many people in the disputed territory to acquire the land, because now legally they can purchase the land. So there would be
United Nations Security Council is going to be helpless, crippled?
Yes, they are.
They're crippled?
They are crippled apparently, but I think that we should keep knocking the door, so that we can, make it notice to the world at large. This is a crisis, and it needs to be resolved. Otherwise, it's going to
it's going to turn into a huge problem.
Yeah.
We'll keep discussing Kashmir for Kashmiris, for Pakistan. We'll keep disclosing and revealing the Indian brutality to all of you. But at this moment, last question, and then we close this session. Do you think this move by India is just going to stop without giving freedom to Kashmiris, or it's going to not end till Kashmiris get freedom?
Well, that's an indigenous movement. They will not stop. Kashmiri will not stop unless they are given a proper rights as any other nation of the world has. So India is in the presumptions that after making certain strategies and taking things right and left, they can get it resolved. They can nub this issue. But obviously it is not going to be nubbed, because the local peoples are very determined, and
Yes.
Pakistan is also concerned, and China and other nations are also concerned, because they know that if the war is between India and Pakistan they are about to lose.
They're about to lose. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. We close our session, this session on Kashmir, on this beautiful line, the world is your will. So the will of Kashmiris is not to go with India, but go with Pakistan. And this will happen one day. Thank you very much.